All right, House. I messed around and made a little trade value list. I did not write text for it, but
it was time for an update because we have another set of playoffs to really measure who showed us something serious, who had the balls.
And it was time to crown the Joker.
Let's crown the Joker.
So the first one I ever wrote, February 2001. Can you guess who?
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. I don't even, I was living in Charlestown. I don't even think I was engaged yet. I don't think you were engaged yet.
I definitely was not.
Who do you think was the number one player on the first trade value list?
Man.
2000-2001 season. So it was the season that eventually led to the Lakers winning the title again.
You hate Kobe. So there's no scenario in which...
Kobe?
No, at that era. I'm saying
that was when him and Shaq were really battling. We had some real concerns.
This is what I mean. No, it's yes. For the sake of clarity, Bill Simmons does not hate Kobe Bryant. I'm trying to project back to 2001.
Well, you and I were
living our lives.
This was the first time because we jumped on that Kobe bandwagon early.
Immediately.
We were like, this might be the guy.
Look at him go.
We loved him. 2000 finals. But then that second season, it was like,
him and
no. It was just started to go a little bit the wrong way. So no, he was not the number one guy. The number one guy was Tim Duncan.
I wondered. I was going to guess that. And then I might have said Shaq, though.
Tim Duncan had KG.
Yeah.
And Kobe Bryant was third.
Okay. Where was Shaq?
He was like fifth or sixth. Because it was the Shaq was out of shape season.
Shaq?
Yeah. It was like, what's going on?
Shaq. Come
29.
on.
Is he going to stay in shape? Since then, Shaq the next year was number one.
Okay.
Tim Duncan, because that was after the three-peat.
Yes.
It was like, all right, Shaq's got to be number one.
Great.
After that, Tim Duncan, the 03 when he was the finals MVP. We had a young LeBron James. Was number one for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade in 2006, coming up the 06 finals.
Wow.
Became the most untradeable guy in the league.
Amazing. Great job, D. Wade.
Every trade value column I wrote from 07 through the 13 one, LeBron James was number one.
With good reason.
And if I had done it in 14, which I didn't, I think it would have been Kevin Durant because that was his MVP year. I just didn't do it. I think I was too busy.
Yeah.
2015 was the last one I wrote for ESPN and Grantland. I feel like I'm confessing something here. Anthony Davis was my number one guy.
Oh, no.
It was like right during that stretch when, remember LeBron went to Cleveland and he was like, didn't look as good. And I think Durant got hurt.
I don't like it.
And Davis just kind of stumbled in there. We don't talk about that list.
I don't like it.
So I didn't write one in 16 or 17, but it would have been Steph Curry in 16. It would have been KD in 17.
Sure. Yes.
And then it was basically the Greek Freak for half a decade. And now our doughy Serbian king. Our guy Joker.
We're calling him the doughy Serbian king?
Our unselfish god. The guy who brought back team basketball. The basketball that we grew up with.
Yeah, he really did.
At the field house at Holy Cross, where guys used to cut and actually get the ball.
It really has been a joyful last couple of weeks. I have to say, I did not really love the regular season this year.
Yeah,
I thought it was an all-time disappointing NBA regular season for all the variety of reasons, but most prominently, the load management and all that kind of stuff. But the joy of watching the Joker do his thing and the entire basketball world recognizing it and celebrating that brand of basketball. And you and Doc, it was such a great conversation. The pod you guys did right after Game 5, you and Doc Rivers. He makes everybody that he plays with better. And that's the number one core tenet of the Joe House Bill Simmons basketball.
Yeah, that's all we've ever cared about.
It really is.
Yeah, that's why I still love Bill Walton.
I understand.
It's so nice that somebody brought it back. It was so nice to watch somebody just single-handedly turn Aaron Gordon into this awesome finals player. I was so glad Doc did his whole thing about it. So yeah, Jokic is first. So honorable mention, basically the same as the last time. Dishonorable mention, Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons. The following guys are...
Wait. Well, we'll get to Kyrie. Are we going to leave? Are we going to talk about guys or you just want to run through it?
Well, you push back a little that Kyrie was not in the top 65.
When you have him in dishonorable mention, that means that he's not inside the top 65.
I just can't put him in.
I don't see how. I don't understand that. He literally was just traded for really a very important player for the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas missed the playoffs because they couldn't play defense, and it's because they couldn't play defense because they traded their best defender.
Well, you think they would redo that trade, Joe House? I'm going to say they won't. I'm going to say that wouldn't have been a trade they did again. I think that hurt his trade value, the fact that they didn't make the playoffs. I can't put him in. I'm not doing it. Toughest omissions.
I want to be on record. Kyrie Irving is a top 30 player in the NBA, notwithstanding the nonsense.
How many teams would actually trade for him?
I think some.
Like, give me
the Lakers would.
Who are they trading?
I don't know. I mean, we could sit down and look.
Would
at
you trade Austin Reeves for Kyrie Irving?
Yes, of course. What kind of question is that? Yes.
You'd rather pay Kyrie Irving $40 million and deal with all the stuff that comes with Kyrie Irving.
They made
over
the
young
Western
Austin Reeves
Conference Finals, and the biggest response to what you're posing there in terms of dealing with Kyrie. LeBron James is the Los Angeles Laker. He's the GM. He's the coach. He'll run the show.
How many more disappointing years in a row does Kyrie have to have before you don't consider him a top 65 trade asset?
I'm
just wondering, what's the number? Like, because he's up to 6.
Well, you know what?
It's 6 straight years of dissension or him getting hurt.
It's
or
fun.
His team underachieving or just complete chaos or him refusing to play.
I am never in the position of having to stand up for Kyrie Irving.
Do you know how long 6 years is?
Oh, I do.
How old's your son now?
It's wonderful. He's 12.
So the last time Kyrie had a coherent season, your son was in kindergarten.
Yes, he was. Probably repeating it.
And now your son is very close to hitting puberty.
Things. Stuff
will start happening.
Right.
Some long showers. Toughest omissions. Keldon Johnson, Lou Dort, Jaden Ivey, Dyson Daniels, Jaden McDaniels, who did not make the February list. I actually would have put him on if he didn't punch a wall during the biggest game of their season. I don't know. I thought I would ding him on that one.
It's a bummer.
Devin Vassell, Caleb Martin.
Sure.
Making like $7 million a year and just proved that he could play in a playoff series. And Nikola Vucevic, who's a free agent. Off the list. Guys, we knocked off the list. Gobert, CP3, Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma, Jeremy Grant, Chris Middleton, Julius Randle, Jared Allen, Anthony Simons.
What?
James Harden, Jabari Smith, Marcus Smart. Any of those make you mad?
I'm not mad. I'm just confused. Why is Anthony Simons off the list?
He didn't make the list.
And Kuzma,
I didn't like the second half of his season.
I'm surprised by Kuzma as well. Well,
he's a free agent. He's about to be overpaid. What's his trade value?
Okay, that's fine.
Also, Spencer Dinwiddie kind of stuck it to him.
I thought Kuz pushed back pretty good.
He did.
On Dinwiddie. That's fair. I mean, Din Shitty is pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Anthony Simons, I still wonder about in the sense that his season went the way that Portland season went, which was the not with Dame's, point of view, which is like we've seen this a few times out of Portland. So can we really stick it to Simons? He's still young. He's so young.
$25 million a year. It was basically
good price.
Him or Jalen Green for that one spot, the King of Houston, Jalen Green. And I just like Jalen Green. He's 2 years in the league, rookie contract.
Okay, he's a little bit younger and a little bit cheaper. All right.
If Portland offers Anthony Simons to Jalen Green for Houston for Jalen Green, does Houston say yes? I don't think they do.
I don't think so, but why would they? They don't. Yeah, that doesn't help them any.
All right, so top 65. First category, buyer's remorse. This has number 65, Tyler Hero, Bradley Beal.
These are all guys you tried to give me.
Zach LaVine and Kawhi Leonard.
I want to say something about
Would
Kawhi.
you take Kawhi Leonard for Bradley Beal right now?
I think Kawhi might have to go on the dishonorable mention list.
Oh, I like this.
I really think it might be time. Like, how many more seasons?
Well, he got legitimately hurt this last time.
He tried to a certain extent, but there just seems to be always with this guy a communication piece that's missing. Why do we keep hearing these stories out of LA about we're not sure what his status is? We're not sure.
Or stuff like he's completely ruined the culture with our organization and stuff. You mean stuff like that?
That feels like a rumor. I don't know one way or the other.
Not a rumor.
I think it might be time because he kind of single-handedly sabotaged the Clippers. I mean, he did kind of hold them hostage. He did kind of insist that they acquire another guy who's oft injured, who had a catastrophic injury in the form of Paul George. And they kind of did trade SGA, who's kind of a first-team All-NBA guy, for the purpose of bringing Paul George on board. Like,
I was trying to think, like,
and
imagine
now that team is fucked.
Yeah, $209 million payroll guaranteed. No way to get out of it.
I'd much rather be a Wizards fan than a Clippers fan. How about that?
Well, I'm sure the Clippers called you about Bradley Beal. Let me try to see if I can throw a Clippers Bradley Beal trade at you. Marcus Morris's expiring contract?
No, I've had enough. I don't want any Morrises. I've had enough.
Robert Covington? They could just give you like 3 bad contracts.
Oh, they all expiring?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Nick Batum?
They don't even have to come. Nick Batum, I stand for Batum.
They could just give you those 3, the Morris, Covington, Batum, poo-poo platter for Beal. And you could be like,
that's fine.
Let's get out of this. I think you can do better than that. The Kawhi thing, it would be like if Russillo, I'm trying to think like in normal life, like Russillo's doing my pods on Sundays from February to July.
Yeah.
And he just like didn't show up for like half of them. And then I'd be like, Kyle, did you talk to Russillo? He's like, I didn't. He wouldn't return my emails or texts. So is he going to show up today? I don't know. And then it's like, all right, well, we better have somebody on standby in case he doesn't play tonight. Well, and then like right before the pod, he shows up like, I'm ready to do the pod.
With the added flavor, though, of like you already making accommodations for him. Like Russillo's only available on Sundays between 6:25.
He can only do the podcast at 6:40.
And you have to send him, it's like a rider. He needs a bowl of green M&Ms and 5 hot coffees. Right. Not 4, not 6, 5, and they've been at a certain temperature. So you're already accommodating him. And
I could do it for a year, but year 5, I'd be like, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
I think the Clippers are good. I think they're good with this. To me,
what do you mean good?
I think they're fucking tired of the Kawhi roller coaster and just not knowing stuff.
I agree.
Just being in the dark. So we agree.
But they're stuck. He's still under contract.
You're going to trade Bradley Beal to them. Then you can have Kawhi.
For what?
Kawhi can load manage his way to the number 2 pick in the draft next year.
I'm putting I take Kyrie down and put him on the list, and I push Kawhi Leonard onto dishonorable mention.
Zach LaVine for Kawhi Leonard, I have them right next to each other in trade value. Kawhi to Chicago, doesn't like cold weather.
Who's the best coach that Zach LaVine's played for? Because Billy Donovan's not a chump. Is there a coach fit for Zach LaVine in this NBA?
Pretty good coach.
I agree. I said he's not a chump.
You know how many seasons Zach LaVine's been in the NBA?
A lot.
9.
Yeah.
You know how many playoff games he's played? Take a guess.
Ooh, it's not very many. 10?
4. Pretty tough.
That's not a good number.
Not great. Next group is quality starters. From 61 to 54, Keegan Murray, RJ Barrett, DeMar DeRozan, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Derek White, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. Now, here's why Derek White's in there. Basically, it's the Marcus Smart spot. Great contract, 17.6 next year, 18.8 the year after.
It's a great contract.
Really, everything he does is additive. Good teammate. And the whole point of the trade value is it's not a player list. We're not ranking this from 60 to 1. You have to factor in age, salaries. Is your contract expiring? Do I have you under contract for a long time?
Can I trust you in the playoffs?
So like the next 2 guys are Derek White, then Trae Young, then DeJounte Murray. And the Hawks would not trade Trae Young for Derek White.
Definitely not.
But yet I would argue Derek White at 40% of the price of Trae Young in the second apron era we're about to enter.
Yep.
I would rather have Derek White. But I know he has less trade value. The next category is the Upside Gang, which features 3 new guys. From 53 to 46. Hold your thoughts. Jalen Green, Shaedon Sharpe, Tyrese Maxey, Scotty Barnes, Austin Reeves, Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, and Cade Cunningham. Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson not in the league yet. You're squinting at Austin Reeves at number 49.
I really am not. He has skills that I understand, that translate well for teams that want to have success in the NBA playoffs.
Which is what we care about, you and I.
And he gets to the free throw line.
To me, he's 6'5" Jeff Hornacek, and he'll be in lots of playoffs as long as he can be the third guy on a really good team.
Why? Jalen Green is the one that confuses me.
The King of Houston?
The King of Houston is confusing me.
The reason we're joking about King of Houston is he was on Paul George's podcast, and Paul George asked him about the James Harden rumors, and Paul George says, "You're the King of Houston." I was like, wow.
The player podcasts are a godsend. Please,
from a comedy standpoint, definitely
keep coming, guys. Everybody who wants one, just do it.
I think he's so talented, and we have not seen him with a good supporting cast situation, a good coaching situation. We've seen.
Okay,
I'm just not. I just want to see him with Udoka. Can I see him with Ime Udoka for 3 months?
I think okay. That's fine. That's a fair.
Can I see him with a coach that's going to hold him accountable and yell at him when he doesn't play defense and yell at him when he takes dumb 28-footers? I want to see it.
I want my position to be clear. I don't think he belongs on this list. I think he should be an honorable mention player. I don't think he's a top 65 player in terms of trade value in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm on record with that. I understand the point you're making.
You know what makes me mad is I felt the same way, but I didn't want to take him off because then it'd be like, you hate Jalen Green. It's like,
you already had him on the pod. You made up to him.
I know, but
And are Houston people really still
like? Would you rather have Jaden McDaniels or Jalen Green?
Jaden McDaniels, of course.
I blew it. I should have put Jaden McDaniels
playing in the playoffs, and he's a crucial element.
He punched a wall during the biggest game of their year.
God, why did he do it?
I think I probably blew that one. Oh well. The Reeves thing, though, I really think
I have no problem with it at all.
I really feel like if they had run more of the offense through him in that Denver series, that they would not have gotten swept. It was one of those things where, LeBron, who I still think is the smartest guy in the league, but they had a real advantage with Reeves. Like, he was getting in the paint, he was creating stuff, and it felt like especially when they fell down 2-0, LeBron was like, I gotta do everything now. That it's all on my shoulders. And I was like, I don't know if that was true. I actually think Reeves could have. I was shocked by how easily he was creating shots for himself and others. He was a real problem for Denver. Anyway, Cade Cunningham.
What's the early reports on how his recovery's going?
You could have told me he should have been in the low 30s.
Sure.
You could have told me he should have been honorable mention. I don't even know what to think. We haven't seen him in a year.
Yep.
All right, come back. Trade value, top 45. This next group is 5 guys. It is called Sorry, He's Worth More to Us Than to You. OG Anunoby, Brandon Ingram, new addition, Aaron Gordon, Desmond Bane, and Domantas Sabonis. Aaron Gordon at number 43, $21.2 million next year, $22.8 the year after, and player option the year after that. Phenomenal.
I think I'm okay. This is the only time really that he's going to make the list.
In November he's probably out.
This is just us celebrating the contribution he made to a team that won the NBA title.
He's also worth more to them than he would be to any other team. Like that. If Toronto's like, we'll give you OG Anunoby for Denver for Gordon, Denver's not going to be like, oh, cool.
And the contract is really good. Those numbers are really good. 21 million, 23 million. Those are good numbers.
Sabonis dropped about 10, 12 spots because of the playoffs,
unfair.
But he was hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's the right spot for him. But next group has 7 people in it, and it is called If You Tell Woj, I'll Deny It to the Death, But I'm Listening.
No.
Number 40, LeBron James.
I say no to you. I've already made my impassioned case for LeBron, always in like a top 15 to top 20 position. I don't feel like repeating it.
You're 21 next year.
Doesn't matter.
Makes $46 million.
It doesn't matter.
Who's trading for him?
He still is such an unconquerable force.
Okay, I'll give you the next 6 guys, and you tell me which one of them is getting traded straight up for LeBron James.
Well, how about definitely
Paul George?
No chance I want Paul George instead of LeBron. No way. Under what circumstance? For what reason?
You think the Clippers would want to trade Paul George for LeBron James?
I'm just saying I don't think that at all. I really don't. But I just am not in the position. I know this isn't rankings, It's just slanderous to have LeBron there. That's all. They made the Western Conference Finals. And while he's foot
1
injury,
year, and who knows where he goes next year, even for 1 year. And he's in year 21. Nobody's ever been successful past year 20 in the NBA.
We're already like in the nobody has ever territory with
zone.
LeBron. Yes.
After
the first half that he had in Game 4 against the Nuggets, was that a top 40 performance in the league in the Western Conference Finals against the team that won the NBA title? He created the opportunity for his team, the best chance for them to win.
He was like 7 for 30 in the fourth quarters.
He was worse than that, I think, from 3.
Drew Holiday, number 38. Towns, 37. LaMelo, 36. Siakam, 35. And then Jaylen Brown at 34 dropped like at least 10 spots. I don't know if Towns is too high or too low.
I don't know the answer to that either.
He makes just a crazy amount of money. His contract is like absolutely makes you throw up in your mouth.
It's an impossible situation to get a read on that Minnesota team because Chris Finch, was he an active participant in trying to get Rudy Gobert there? Was he on board with management?
How about Tim Connolly? Like, he built a lot of that Nuggets team, at least like the foundation of the top 3 guys. Plus, he drafted Porter. And then he goes to Minnesota. He makes the worst trade of the last 15 years. Some people are like, congrats, Tim, on the Nuggets. But meanwhile, he's like just in a fucking 8mm Nicolas Cage, Jane Gandolfini fucking snuff film.
I have to push back to tiniest bit on the worst trade of the last 15 years because Travis Schlenk, who's now in Washington, D.C., and I don't know if he golfs or not. I'd like to take him out. So he could explain to me why he traded the rights to Luka Doncic for Trae Young, which is the worst trade of the last 15 years.
I think he got Cam Reddish out of it. I think the Gobert trade is worse than the Luka trade.
What?
That Gobert trade is staggering. And now the Kawhi trade, which was defensible, is probably the after-the-fact second-guessing worst trade. When you have Shea and 100 draft picks, it's pretty tough.
Pretty tough.
Like Shea and Jalen Williams plus all this other stuff.
Man. That's a gamble.
All right, next group was Too Young, Too Cheap, Too Good. Please stop calling us. Chet Holmgren, 33. Lauri Markkanen, 32. Walker Kessler, Franz Wagner. And my fucking dude, Jalen Williams at number 29. And I thought about even putting him a little higher.
I bet you did.
I absolutely love that guy.
I can't have Chet here. Chet can't.
So that was my question. Is he too high?
He's way too high. Yeah. He needs to, at the very best, he's up with Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson. You know what I mean? He hasn't played a single game. And who knows? He had a foot injury, the worst possible thing for a center.
So you think he should be where Cade Cunningham is?
Yeah. Yeah, up in that or higher. Like you can't have Chet in that category. Why is he there? What possible value does he have around the league?
I think he could have played in February, and they just sat him.
Okay, but
they were being careful.
They should be careful. That's exactly the point. They need to be careful.
Yeah, he's too high. I fucked that up.
It's okay.
Next category. Speaking of fuck that up.
Oh boy.
Group F. The incredibly touchable untouchables, featuring 2 people, Zion Williamson at number 28 and Ja Morant at number 27. Wow. A precipitous fall for him. He fell 20 spots since I did the trade value. I did that trade value at the beginning of February, and Ja's whole career completely flipped shortly after.
I admire you working out a way to put them both in Group F because that's really where they belong. My goodness.
It's tough. But we agree Ja has more trade value than Zion.
Do we? The problem is, yes, because when you size up the 2 challenges associated with each player, it seems like Zion can work, but there might be 5 teams. And it seems like Ja's issue, if it can be solved, he can play really anywhere because it's not a function of his talent or his commitment or his ability to be a successful basketball player.
We just need an older, wiser Ja Morant. I used the Marbury example like 10 days ago, and I thought that was a fair one because Marbury was one of those guys, super talented, couldn't stay out of his own way for a few years there. And then all of a sudden it was like he's on the 09 Celtics.
Yeah.
And it was like, Jesus, he's not even like 31 yet.
Yeah.
So I hope that's not what happens with Ja, but we'll see. I don't think. I mean, the Zion, if you're Charlotte in New Orleans, is like, you know what? We'll give you Zion for number 2 right now. You'd at least have a long meeting about it.
I mean, I think so.
Because then you could think, all right, if we can get Zion's head straight, we got LaMelo and Zion. We're at least like,
that's pretty good.
At least winning Twitter.
And you know, Bridges has already served his suspension. He's eligible to play in the NBA game 1 next year.
They should just take Scoot.
Miles Bridges is eligible to play. And you recall Miles Bridges was having a pretty goddamn good season.
Would you trade LaMelo for Zion?
No, I would.
If you're who?
Charlotte.
We'll have LaMelo at 36 and Zion at 28. I mean, just remember there was a couple times in the last 5 years when Zion looked like one of the 3 best offensive players in the entire league. He looked absolutely devastating. It's really hard to shake that considering he's 23. Next category, Group E. Let me save you some time. Fuck no. 26, Dame Lillard, then going down. Mikal Bridges, big jump for him. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Josh Giddey, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Davis at 20, and De'Aaron Fox at 19. I had a lot of trouble with Mitchell, Garland, and Giddey.
Yeah.
As it compared to Dame. So I went in order like Portland, Cleveland. Cleveland says no faster, Donovan and versus Dame. Garland, Dame. I just value Garland more. I'm going to die on the Garland hill. I fucking love that guy.
I think you are. He's still so crazy young. He's so young.
If you're Cleveland, would you trade Garland for Dame? You would.
In a heartbeat.
So you put Dame and Mitchell together.
In a heartbeat. They another seasoned veteran with genuine playoff chops who can arrive and you know, Donovan Mitchell, his playoff acumen was compromised a little bit by the youth surrounding him. Part of that youth was Darius Garland. I think Donovan Mitchell gets a bump.
Yeah, but I would argue Mitchell had the ball too much, and one of their problems that Knicks series was not having enough Darius Garland.
A good.
So Garland
thing they could have done was also rebound the ball.
Yeah, to me that was like Jared Allen, who got knocked off the list. That was an indictment of Jared Allen, that series.
And Evan Mobley.
Yeah, and Evan Mobley not being ready yet.
Yes.
Garland is $33.5 million next year. It's a 5-year deal for $194 million, which is about $100 million less than Dame. Josh Giddey at 22. I had him above Dame and Mitchell and Garland. You agree with that?
Super hard to get my arms around it. We haven't seen him in what really amounts to is a true playoff kind of situation. Now they did make that push to the 10 spot in the play-in. And they were really super fun to watch. They played a great brand of basketball for, you know, the last 2.5 months of the season. Their offensive rating was terrific.
Can I give you
they really gelled well. Do you have some numbers?
20 years old.
Yeah.
Turns 21 on October 20th.
Gosh.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Last season, basically 17, 8, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And played. He fucking played 76 games.
Yeah.
He's durable.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I told this story before, but that when I went to that LeBron scoring record game, I was watching him and Shea and those guys, how they were handling that kind of break.
Yes.
And those guys were just pacing because they wanted to go out and beat the Lakers' ass. I love that guy. Like that, to me, that is a guy who could have been in the playoff series we just watched. They would have left him open. They would have made him keep shooting. Nobody would have guarded him. He doesn't have an outside shot yet, but he's going to have one. He's too good of an athlete. He's never not going to have an outside shot.
The 20-year-old thing is what makes it.
Brunson, 21. I think that's great contract. Took a team to the second round. Still pretty young. The most popular Knicks since, I would say, Bernard. Or
it's
I'm sorry, maybe Ewing, Sprewell, that little Sprewell run. I'm trying to think of other guys who were in that class. Some would say Carmelo, but I felt like they were talking. Carmelo was like a second wife somebody was trying to talk themselves into the whole time he was there. I never felt like it was 100% Carmelo. It's our fucking dude.
I agree.
It was.
They loved him that one playoff series.
They liked him.
The 60-point game.
Sure.
Was they loved him.
I think now that the years have passed, it's like, man, Carmelo, we fucking love that guy. It's like, it's kind of there for it.
Anyway.
I don't know if love is the word I would use.
Jalen Brunson, beloved.
Beloved.
What
he did last year, more beloved than anything I saw from Carmelo.
True story.
4 groups left. Budding franchise guys, 18 to 14. Paolo, Halliburton, Mobley, Bam Adebayo climbing up to 15. Triple J. Where you think Bam's too high or too low?
I'm fine with Bam because I really feel like this next season is going to be a breakout. And this is the thing. I think Miami is like...
He's still like weirdly young.
Do you know there was an incredible future for Miami to win the NBA championship?
I heard you talking about this on Gambling Show.
On East Coast Bias. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe that number. It was crazy, disrespectful.
I'm going to look it up
Miami. Right now. The one that I made the noise about is Tyrese Halliburton.
For what?
Can he play? He has to play. The Pacers were great when he played, and they were terrible when he didn't play. He needs to play.
Miami's 18-1 for the title.
Is that where they are? They were in the. I can't remember what the number was.
Do you think you drove the line on East Coast Bias?
We might have. We were
plus 700 for the East.
We were kind of stunned by whatever the number was.
Yeah, maybe they fucked it up.
I feel like it was in the 20s.
I'm in on Halliburton. They just sat him because they were trying to lose near the end of the year. The Daryl not taking Halliburton for Simmons.
I don't know.
I would say it was the biggest mistake of his career, but he did make that Russell Westbrook Chris Paul trade.
It's very disrespectful to Daryl.
Well, I'm just under the circumstances. I have to call it like I see it sometimes.
Ben Simmons made what? How many All NBA teams?
I just value Halliburton.
And how many All Defense teams?
They could have gotten Halliburton and Harrison Barnes.
You value him. How many All NBA teams, All Defense teams has Tyrese Halliburton made?
It's like 23. I just think that's the kind of guy I want to put next to Embiid. I felt that way at the time. I said it in the moment.
I think he's too high.
Okay. So you'd put him where Fox is.
Fox has made an All-NBA team.
Halliburton's on a rookie contract.
I understand that point, but that's not sustainable.
Halliburton was second team All-NBA for most of the season last year. Just
he didn't end up there.
Well, because they stopped playing him. Last 3 groups. Group C, only if they made us do it. 13, Jimmy Butler. 12, Jamal Murray. 11, Joel Embiid. 10, Kevin Durant. You think Durant's too high? I think he did get traded for Bridges and 4 firsts and a pick swap and Cam Johnson.
That was a grotesque overpay.
It was.
By a situation that was looking to cleanse itself and make a splash. He hasn't done shit since he left Golden State. He hasn't played.
He almost beat Milwaukee by himself.
He got swept in the first round of the playoffs with his chosen guy.
Come on, he had a heroic Milwaukee series. That was great.
Okay. That's one series that you can point to.
It was a couple.
I don't have him higher than LeBron.
All right, now.
Why is he higher than LeBron?
Your medication's wearing off. Because he's 34. Kevin Durant's awesome. Him and Booker had 86 points in a playoff game against Denver.
I want to side by side.
A month ago.
I want to side by side how many games Kevin Durant's played and how many games LeBron has played.
LeBron hasn't played, I think, 60 games in a season in like 6 years, and 5 years.
And now do Kevin Durant. It's preposterous. What's preposterous is that range.
This is a good bit.
It's not a bit. I need to see him go do something.
Are you okay with Jamal Murray?
He turned his ankle and was out for 2 weeks in the run-up to the playoffs.
Did have a couple injuries.
In a warm-up.
I'm basing it off the trade they just made for him. That was an absurd trade that you can't say Jimmy Butler would have gotten. It's
literally an irrational trade. By that logic, you need to have Rudy Gobert right next to him. That's literally the case. He should be number 9.
Are you okay with Butler at 13? 33 years old, makes a shitload of money.
I love him so much. He's Jimmy Buckets. He's him. He's everybody. He's everything that you want out of that dude. It's a respectful place for him to be among those guys. And it's not a ranking and the guys that are ahead of him, it's not, it's just because they're younger and their situations are different. That's all. All respect to Jimmy Butler.
I have Murray 12 because it's almost a ranking tied to Jokic. Because Denver knows, like, we have these two guys. This is the best combination anyone has, and we're never splitting these two
Here's
up.
my argument.
Should it be higher?
You absolutely, positively cannot, under any circumstance, have Joel Embiid ahead of Jimmy Butler. You cannot. Not after what we just saw. And Mike Lombardi made one of the very best impassioned cases for his concerns around Joel Embiid. When is the first time in Joel Embiid's career somebody's going to hold him accountable and he's going to show up and be the best player in a playoff series consistently from the beginning of that playoff series to the end of that playoff series? It was a bad look for the league MVP to not show up in 2 games in a 7-game series. A bad look. And I know he was hurt and I know he's out of shape, but that is a repeating phenomenon with this dude. So I cannot have Joel Embiid ahead of that guy. Jimmy Butler, all he does is take teams with bits and pieces to the conference finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 finals appearances in the last 4 years. I won't tolerate it. Jimmy Butler needs to be ahead of Joel Embiid. Please. It's a request. It's a request.
That was a really good case.
Thank you.
Were you okay with Evan Mobley being 16? And notice how I put it behind Jaren Jackson because that text Verno sent us in January.
It's fine. I really don't have a problem with it.
Verno won't get mad at us though.
I don't think that we're over.
Verno might move from Memphis. That's what I was hearing.
Verno is not moving from Memphis.
What I heard is he might move.
That's I'm not.
I heard Verno's. It's time for him to get out of Memphis.
I'm not tolerating this.
He doesn't. His son has all these Ja Morant jerseys, and he just needs to get out and get a fresh start. That was what I was hearing.
Chris Vernon is beloved in Memphis. I went down there and witnessed with my own 2 eyes.
Chris Vernon might be the most popular person in Memphis now that after Ja's last 4 months. It might be Verno 1 and Jared Jackson 2.
Triple J's
we love you,
popular.
Verno. I'm just kidding.
Triple J's pretty popular.
Second to last group, the Untouchables, Group B. 3 people. Anthony Edwards, 9. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 8. Devin Booker, 7. Only thing I had with Devin Booker was whether he should have been nudged to Group A. The completely and utterly untouchable group, and I decided no.
I'm surprised to hear you say that. Why is he better than Jamal Murray? Who does he make better?
I mean, Devin Booker's probably better than Jamal Murray.
I think now that we saw Jamal Murray again in the playoffs and being reminded.
If you put Devin Booker with Joker, I'm pretty sure he'd do pretty well.
It would be great.
Yeah.
He'd be legitimately great. And, his ability to go to the hole, I'm sure he averages more free throws than Jamal. And Jamal, for the purposes of this most recent regular season, really couldn't play. I mean, he played himself back into being Jamal Murray. And then we got to see Jamal Murray again in the playoffs.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
So here's my Anthony Edwards question. Do you see a world where he's a Group A guy at any point in the next 3 years?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Group A, last one, completely and utterly untouchable. 6-1. Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, Victor Wembanyama, who's not even in the league yet, Luka Doncic, Giannis, and our doughy Serbian king, Nikola Jokic. At number 1. Wemby, are you okay with that spot for him? Number 4?
The only thing that I would say about this group is that Luka should not be 3. He should be 6. He needs to be behind everybody else.
You want to really ding Luka. Jesus.
Remember, we had this wonderful time, and there was kind of circularity to this. We were together before the playoffs started, as the regular season was ending.
Oh, the Dude Perfect
April,
guy.
And we were sitting with exactly right down at the Masters. Had a wonderful chat with the Dude Perfect crew. We should get that picture and post it.
Yeah,
so everybody can see. We're friends with Dude Perfect now. But the dude from
Dallas
made it a pretty good case for trading Luka. Kind of now, like looking for the very best value to go grab the best assets, the best deal you can make. Because what you're looking at instead is like another year of this weird drama. and you're losing his rookie contract. The extension, and what comes next with him? How are you going to make him happy? And he's so ball dominant, and without a guard like Jalen Brunson, who's he going to be? It was a pretty good case, and now I believe that he might make sense as a trade asset.
So Luka for Paolo and number 6. No, I'm kidding. Just making sure Cerruti's listening. All right, Wembanyama, you're good at number 4 for him.
Fine, yeah. Nobody's trading anything for Wembanyama.
I wonder, will that be the lowest Wembanyama ranks on the trade value list for the next 15 years? It's very possible.
Super.
Remember when he was number 4?
It's a great call. I love it.
And then he averaged 38 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 blocks a game for an entire season, and went 16-0 in the playoffs.
Oh, I thought we were going to the other direction.
This will be the highest that he's ever run?
Yeah, that he gets to San Antonio, and it's not in a big enough city. The lights aren't bright enough for him, and he ends up on dishonorable mention.
I think he's got it.
Yeah.
I've been watching some interviews and clips of him. He's fucking cool.
Yeah, great.
He might be like the coolest French person since Noah.
You're kind of making my case, though. What if San Antonio isn't a big enough town for him?
He loves San Antonio, though. It'd be like you playing for Washington.
It would be great.